Is Anthony Joshua done with heavyweight boxing? After getting knocked out by Daniel Dubois in their last fight, fans are asking if Ajay will take the rematch or stay out of the ring. Dubois is calling him out, but Joshua hasn't said much, leaving everyone wondering. Will he fight to win back his reputation, or has he lost his drive? Let's break down the latest news and see what's really happening. Daniel Dubois is still unsure if Anthony Joshua will take a rematch after suffering a devastating knockout loss in the 5th round of their September 21st fight in London. Dubois, who has been riding high off his victory, believes Joshua might be dealing with demons in his head, preventing him from wanting to step back into the ring with him. Dubois sees this loss as far more damaging than Ajay's shocking defeat to Andy Ruiz Jr. back in 2019. Unlike Ruiz, who became distracted with partying and indulgence ahead of his rematch, Dubois is determined to stay sharp and focused. Joshua won't have the luxury of facing a less prepared opponent this time around, and that leaves the former heavyweight champion grappling with self-doubt. For Joshua, a second knockout loss to Dubois, now 27, would be a massive blow to his already shaken confidence. It would likely ruin his chances of continuing his career on the high note he hopes for, especially with a potential all-British clash against Tyson Fury looming in 2025. Even though His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, a key figure in setting up big fights, still seems interested in making the Joshua-Fury showdown happen, fans may not be as excited if both fighters are coming off major losses. The fight could lose its appeal, with many viewing it as two aging fighters clashing more for the money than for the glory. Dubois believes that while the Joshua-Fury fight might still be pushed forward, it would come across as somewhat pathetic if Joshua were to skip a rematch with him. Eddie Hearn, Joshua's promoter, knows that rushing Joshua into a rematch with Dubois could backfire. Hearn has always been calculated in his moves, and he's likely well aware that a second bout with Dubois might not end well for Ajay. Dubois, who is the current IBF heavyweight champion with an impressive record of 22 wins and 21 knockouts, was relentless in their first fight. He dropped the then 34-year-old Joshua 4 times, leaving the crowd at Wembley Stadium in shock and delivering one of the most humiliating defeats of Ajay's career. I hope we get a date soon. He'll have a lot of demons playing in his mind. Who knows? People will talk him into it, Dubois told Box Nation, confident that Joshua may not want to face him again. From my side, I'm ready to go out there and show the world I'm the king. If he wants it again, let's do it. Let's go. The fact that Joshua hasn't come out and immediately demanded a rematch like he did after his losses to Andy Ruiz and Alexander Usyk is telling. Dubois believes it suggests that Ajay lacks the self-confidence to step back into the ring with him, despite talking a big game about being a warrior. Joshua's silence implies he may be more hesitant than he's letting on. Dubois pointed out that when Joshua lost to Ruiz and Usyk, he was quick to announce his intentions for a rematch. This time, however, Joshua's hesitation hints at a fighter who might not fully believe in his ability to win. For someone as prideful as Ajay, who has built his career on his fighting spirit, this reluctance is a worrying sign. Dubois has gone so far as to say that Joshua's actions reek of fear. If Joshua were in the military, Dubois suggests, he'd be taken off the front lines and assigned to less demanding tasks because he's showing clear signs of battle fatigue. A second knockout loss to Dubois would not only further damage Joshua's career, but could also shatter his self-image as one of the top fighters in the heavyweight division. While Joshua continues to speak of wanting to fight on and face the best, his failure to address the rematch situation with Dubois speaks louder than his words. Fans and analysts alike are left wondering whether Joshua still has the heart to continue at the highest level of the sport. Dubois' dominance in their first encounter has left many questioning if Anthony Joshua still has what it takes to compete at the elite level. Joshua, once considered one of the most feared heavyweights, has seen his aura of invincibility diminish following multiple losses in recent years. His defeat at the hands of Ruiz Jr. was initially viewed as a fluke, but with losses to Alexander Usyk and now Daniel Dubois, the cracks in Joshua's confidence are becoming more apparent. For a fighter who was once the poster boy of British boxing, these defeats have not only impacted his career, but also the perception of his invincibility in the minds of both fans and future opponents. A rematch with Dubois would be a pivotal moment, and the pressure to perform would be enormous. For Dubois, this victory over Joshua has opened doors to bigger opportunities and elevated his status in the heavyweight division. At just 27 years old, Dubois is in his prime and riding a wave of confidence. His win over Joshua has cemented him as one of the top contenders, and he's ready to take on anyone who stands in his way. Dubois has shown that he has the power, skill, and determination to be a dominant force in the division, and his sights are now set on bigger challenges. A rematch with Joshua would give him the chance to prove that his victory was no fluke, but Dubois may also be eyeing other potential matchups, including a possible showdown with Tyson Fury or Alexander Usyk. While Joshua faces questions about his future, Dubois is fully aware of the significance of a potential rematch. A second win over Joshua would solidify his place among the elite heavyweights and further diminish Joshua's standing in the division. However, Dubois knows that Joshua, even with his recent struggles, is still a dangerous opponent. Joshua's power and experience cannot be discounted, and if he does decide to take the rematch, it could be a career-defining moment for both fighters. Dubois has emphasized his readiness for the rematch, stating that he's prepared to prove once again that he's the better fighter. But whether Joshua has the mental and physical strength to take that step remains uncertain. The heavyweight division is in a state of flux, and the outcome of a rematch between Joshua and Dubois could have major implications for the future. If Joshua were to win, it could reignite his career and set him up for future big money fights, including the long-anticipated clash with Tyson Fury. However, another loss to Dubois would likely signal the end of Joshua's time as a top contender. For Dubois, a second victory would propel him toward the top of the division, potentially lining him up for unification fights with the likes of Fury or Usyk. The decision to pursue the rematch lies in Joshua's hands, and whatever choice he makes will shape the trajectory of his career in the heavyweight landscape. As we await Anthony Joshua's decision on whether to take the rematch with Daniel Dubois, the stakes couldn't be higher for both fighters. Joshua is at a critical juncture in his career, with his legacy hanging in the balance. A rematch offers him the chance to redeem himself and silence his critics, proving that he still has what it takes to be a dominant force in the heavyweight division. But the risk is immense. Another loss could seal his fate as a fading star in the sport, unable to reclaim the glory he once had. For someone who has achieved so much, from winning Olympic gold to becoming a two-time heavyweight champion, this could be the defining moment of his career. If he chooses not to take the rematch, it might be seen as a concession that his best days are behind him, leaving fans to wonder if the once feared Anthony Joshua has lost his edge. On the other side, Dubois stands poised to capitalize on this uncertainty. He has everything to gain from a second fight with Joshua, knowing that another victory would solidify his position as a top contender and a potential future champion. The confidence he gained from their first encounter will only make him more dangerous in a rematch. For Dubois, this is an opportunity not just to defeat Joshua again, but to claim his spot among the elite heavyweights, setting up massive fights against the likes of Tyson Fury or Alexander Usyk. The heavyweight division is undergoing a transformation, and Daniel Dubois is eager to be at the forefront of that change. All eyes are now on Joshua, waiting to see if he will rise to the challenge or step away from the rematch that could determine the future of his career.